Hello and welcome to Art Jam's watercolor project. This brief video demonstrates how to paint your image, and it is meant to enhance the directions in your instruction booklet. Before you begin, you should have covered your work surface and you should have drawn or traced your image of your fish that you would like to paint. If you haven't done that, you need to do so now. You will also need to begin to take out your supplies and arrange them on your work surface. You will definitely need the photograph from your instruction booklet as a guide. You will also need to fill your empty kit jar about halfway with clear, clean water. As you arrange your supplies, right-handed people should have their materials in the upper right area of your work surface, left-handed people in the upper left. The basic steps for completing this painting are going to be you're going to paint the background color. You're going to fill in areas you want white with your wax crayon. You are going to then paint the basic colors of each fish. Then we're going to add details to the fish and then details to the background. As I said, we're going to paint the background first, or the negative space first, using a number 4 brush. To do so, we're going to put a bit of blue on our palette, then we're going to put yellow, and then a bit of black. Once we've done that, we're going to begin adding water to our paint mixture. The reason we do so is because watercolor paintings consist of layer upon layer of translucent color, and in order to create translucent colors you have to add lots of water. So here we are mixing blue and black together in order to paint the background. If you are right-handed, begin on the left edge of the painting. If you are left-handed, begin on the right edge. Continue to paint the background in your blue-black color until you are completely finished. Once you have finished painting it, we will need to allow it to dry completely. This should take about 15 to 30 minutes. You can quicken the drying time by using a hair dryer set on low. Now that you have done that, we would like to fill in areas that we want white with our wax crayon. I'm going to fill in the dots, the tips of the tail, and fins on the large fish, and those will remain white. Now we're going to begin to paint the basic color of each fish using the smaller paintbrush that's in your kit. Use the photograph in your booklet as a guide for combinations of red, yellow, and orange. Don't worry about the details right now. We're going to paint those in once the basic colors have dried. You need to switch your plate out now and put a little bit of red on it, on your clean plate, and then you're going to put a little bit of yellow. These will give you any combination of red, orange, and yellow that you would like. We're going to begin by painting the large fish a deep red-orange color. Notice as we paint, where we applied the white wax crayon, paint is not sticking and it is remaining white. You can also remove excess paint using your cotton swab. The next fish we're going to paint is the one in the lower left corner, and we're going to paint it orange, so we need to mix yellow and red together to do so. And as we paint this fish, I'm going to use a wet-on-wet technique in order to create blotches that you see. So here you have the wet orange paint, and I'm applying a wet red paint on it and just allowing it to spread naturally. And it creates these beautiful blotches that you see in your photograph. I've just noticed that I've forgotten to paint a part of the negative space, so I allow the fish to dry for a minute or two. I re-wet the black plate and I apply the background color in the space that I forgot. The next fish we're going to paint is the small fish in the lower right, and we're going to paint it completely yellow with a few orange blotches on it. We're going to use the wet-on-wet technique in order to create those orange blotches. The final fish we're going to color is in the upper left corner, and this is going to be a red-orange fish. I'm going to apply a few dabs of yellow wet on wet to create, again, these beautiful blotchy colors that we see in our photograph. I'm going to paint the head a little redder than the rest of the fish. And so now that we've completed the basic colors, we need to allow these fish to dry for about 15 to 30 minutes. Now that the fish are dry, we're going to paint in details using the photograph in our booklet as a guide. The first fish we're going to paint details on is the large red fish. I'm going to fill in the eye, then gills and scales and accents to the fins and tail. Here you can see the finished fish. The next fish that we're going to add details to is the small yellow fish down at the bottom. First we paint in the eyes and the mouth. Again, excess paint can be removed by dabbing with the cotton swab. I'm going to paint in the dots that we drew. To paint the gills, I'm going to add a little black to red to make a dark red color. You can also paint in shadowed areas with this color as well. The next fish we're going to paint is the one in the lower left, and it has large blotches on it. We're going to paint those a dark red color as well. You don't want to use straight black. That wouldn't look as nice. And notice how as we paint these details, because the bottom layer is dry, you don't have the spreading that you do with the wet on wet technique. The final fish will be the one in the upper left hand corner. You can use dark red to indicate fins and gills. Again, continually refer back to your photograph in your booklet to paint your fish's details. And here are your completed fish. The next thing we're going to do is touch up the negative space. First thing you want to do is wet your sponge and then squeeze the water out of your sponge onto your plate that has your dark blue and black color on it. We want to re-wet this paint. Also, you can mix more blue and black. You can also mix some yellow with the blue-black to create a dark green color. What we're going to do is use the sponge to add and remove color and to create texture by tapping it on the surface of the painting. For example, you can wet it as I have done here and remove paint with the sponge. Or you can add yellow with the brush. You can remove excess paint also with your cotton swab. As you touch up the background, paint may bleed onto your fish, so touch that up as necessary. I want to also darken up the left side of the painting to add some dramatic area to it, so I do so by adding black paint and then dabbing it with the sponge. Sometimes I'll add paint to the sponge and dab it onto the background, and this creates a very nice textured surface, as you can see. So it's basically adding paint and removing paint using your brush and your sponge alternately. Once you've done that, allow it to dry and you have this beautiful watercolor painting. For more Art Jam projects, go to www.artjams.net.